because not only does he call you babe here, he says, I beg of you on everything, you're my life.
Yeah, he was weirdly into me, and I don't know why. I was never at any point romantic with Cameron.
He accidentally, at the start of one of the sound waves, he briefly leaves in this kind of like a thump sound.
It could be that he's like recording it through an OBS mic and has like a noise gate on, but that wouldn't make sense when it starts so sharply.
However uncredible that you think the Jelly is, I think it's arguable at this point that Cameron is far less credible. So I think it's worth hearing what she has to say, even if we do take it with a little pinch of salt. So I guess, getting that out of the way, I want to make clear my intentions, my motivations here are not to slander Cameron, and not to level unsubstantiated allegations against the guy. It's just to get more information, more testimony on the record, okay? We've heard Cameron's story, we've heard Cameron's side, we've realised that he's lied about a good portion of things. At this point, it's probably only right to hear from Jelly and give her a chance to say her piece. I guess to kick it off, what was your... I know you laid out a little bit in DMs when I was asking you to head on, but I guess what's your kind of your motivation? I guess walk me through what you were thinking, I guess, when you made the Blue Sky account and decided to kind of make those posts.
You got dicked. Okay, bro.
Okay.
Too big for your boots.
I have no interest in ruining anyone's career. It's kind of like none of my business who watches him and who doesn't, and what people online think of him. But I know personally that me and all of my female friends deep dive into a guy as soon as we start talking to them. So someone will see that, and it will not be on my conscience if they get into an abusive situation, because I put out a public warning. If they're doing a background check, they'll find it, and that's on them.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with his public stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so I'm guessing, what has it been? Because it's been relitigated, or it doesn't seem to be because you think he said things that are unfair and true about you. It seems more so to be because it's been brought up as a discussion point again, to kind of clear the air, give your side. So I guess I was saying that it's not necessarily to kind of ruin his career or anything like that, or kind of besmirch him. Is it any part to do with the comments that he's made about you that have made you think that you want to kind of settle the air, kind of clear your name a little bit? Or is it far more about, I guess, the public narrative and kind of getting the information out there from your perspective?
He's been calling everyone involved crazy for, like, I don't know, months. The entire time that I knew him, he was talking everyone else behind their backs, so I'm sure he did that to me the whole time, too. So it's not really about what he claims. I've never cared what he has to say.
Okay.
But, you know, like, lying about it, don't go and call me a liar. That's not nice.
Okay. Nice. I guess I thought I'd ask that just before we then got into, like, timelines and stuff. But yeah, I guess to start out, I am going to go through the timeline just to make sure everybody knows everything, just so this is like a one-stop shop for, like, information regarding your perspective on things or your testimony. Or yeah. To start out, how did you first get in contact with Cam? You were kind of in contact with Yandere Dev. There was some kind of there was what would later come out to be grooming. But how did you start speaking to Cam?
Cameron started writing Yandere Dev in the comment section of every single video about it, and he was like, she lied about her age, and I think the initial response to that was, no, I didn't, who are you? Because I had no idea who he was. He was completely irrelevant as far as the drama went, and I didn't know what he was up to, and then he was like, we can DM and I'll talk to you about it. So we did. We made a group chat with Alex, and then I started talking to both of them about it in the group chat.
So it was through you making your kind of coming out about the grooming, he decided to contact you and get you and Yan, or Yandere Dev, in contact to get a group chat to discuss things, to kind of, I guess, what was the purpose of the group chat?
He wanted to do all of Alex's work, and he wanted to be the one to handle all of the YouTuber interactions. Alex was busy. He kept saying, like, I'm so busy with development, and no one will support me if I stop developing the game. I need you to handle this. And he said it exactly like that. So Cameron was trying to be his PR person, I guess.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So I guess moving on from that, obviously things move along with Yandere Dev. Let's fast forward to, I guess, when did you and Cam start talking personally?
Oh, God, I don't know. It wasn't too late after the group chat. He started DMing me with stuff. Honestly, I wasn't comfortable talking to him alone for, I think, like a month after.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an idea of, I guess, like month, like ballpark figure?
October.
Okay.
October.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys met up in November, I believe.
Yeah, during Thanksgiving break.
Okay. So you guys had been speaking for a month or two. There'd been some kind of like flirting back and forth.
No, that was for an interview.
Ah, okay.
Like, that was strictly just for the Yandere Dev interview. He wanted to interview me and get my side so that he could make his own YouTube commentary video.
Okay. And during this time, he was supportive of Yandere Dev still.
Yeah, they were best friends up until after Christmas break.
Yeah. So to be clear, you're saying that up until the interview, there hadn't been flirty comments kind of back and forth.
No.
Okay.
Most of our interactions were in the group chat. I was still talking to Alex for the most part.
Okay. So then after that, there's one meetup for the interview, and then I believe it's a month later you met up again.
There were 2 meetups, I think, in November. God, I sent you all the dates, actually. I'm not reliable with dates. I was, like, unbelievably high the entire time. So, the whole timeline, it's wrong.
Okay. Okay. Because you're saying that it's fine if you get like specific dates wrong. You can just kind of say things to the best of your recollection, I guess. But just to clarify, I guess at this juncture, you've said that you met up 4 times, all in all.
Yep.
Okay. Whereas before, there seems to be some kind of discussion about meeting up 2 times. I don't know if you could clear that up.
That was the original 2 times. We met up for 2 interviews, or 2 things that he was claiming were interviews.
Okay. And then you met up 2 times subsequent to that?
Yeah, just to hang out.
Okay. So, was it during the second time that you met up for the kind of second interview meetup that you guys ended up hooking up?
No. I think that was our Michael's trip.
Okay.
We go to Michael. I don't. There's a video on. I was looking at beads.
Oh, when you're in the shop?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that would have been later then. Would that have been a third time that you met?
So.
Oh, the Michael's visit.
Yeah, the third time.
Is it December 22nd?
I don't know. I've sent you the Google timeline with like all the trips on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the Michael's trip would have been November 21st, 2023.
If that's what Google said my location data was, then yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so you met up twice for the interviews. You didn't have sex during them. There wasn't a hookup. And it was in the subsequent 2 times that you started to develop. I guess, somewhat, what would you call it, like a situationship, an emotional relationship?
I don't know why he keeps calling it that. We did not have a relationship. I was never at any point romantic with Cameron. Cameron was into me, and I was still at the time screenshotting stuff and sending it to Krexa, being like, ugh, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were making fun of him and I was still talking to Krexa. But no, we didn't have anything romantic. We were hanging out in a motel.
And was this
That was also
this was in
supposed to be
November?
for an interview. No, that was later, I think.
December 22nd? Does that sound right?
I don't know the dates. One
That's
was Thanksgiving break, one was Christmas break. That's why I sent you the location data, because I
That's it.
do not remember the dates.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So I guess the second trip that you sent.
Okay. Let me look at the timeline really quick, actually.
Yeah, sorry, you're on a
I don't
live stream
remember
asking you about
anything.
specific dates and specific times. Apologies.
No, I should have been more. Oh, damn it, where are they? Right. Okay, so December 22nd. Was that? Okay, that's the day that he picked me up from school. We went to Michael's. Okay, so December 22nd, that's when we went to Mike. When was the last time that we met? Oh, yeah, because I couldn't find that. I couldn't find the visit to my grandma's house. So I'm not sure when that date was.
Okay, so that was just at kind of some point later, after December 22nd.
Yeah, we had a couple places that we went to multiple times.
Okay, that's fair.
I live in a small area. There's not much to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so to be clear, the November 21st, where I believe you go to a church for a little bit.
Yeah, get high in the parking lot.
Is that the first time that you meet up, or is that the second time?
I think that's the first time.
Okay, so then December 22nd, that's the second time that you meet up?
Yeah, I think that was the one that we did an interview in. There were 2 motel trips, but I don't know which one I sent you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so regular meet, for interview, second interview, and we went to Michael's at some point. Third meet, he got handsy, told him to stop multiple times, told him I wasn't interested in oral, gave him a bunch of reasons why I didn't want to. He didn't listen. He tried to forcibly put me on him, so I kicked him, and he was like, whoa, there's no need for that. That was a whole thing.
Okay.
And then he started making false reports and stuff and told me that the only way I could get it to stop was to meet up with him again so he could clear the air in person. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, okay, fine. Because I already explained to you the whole thing. CPS reports have to be taken seriously no matter what.
Yeah. And I think the thing that you've sent me, I believe part of that at least is already public. Or it's kind of widely known that there were kind of CPS calls happening. Who exactly they were coming from isn't necessarily proven, though.
Yeah, it's not proven. I asked them, I asked the feds, I asked the cops, and pretty much all of them had the same response. It's not our job to do that. We're just making sure you're safe. And then my dad pressed them about it because he was like, no, you're making false reports. Charge these people with making false reports. And they were like, well, it was from an anonymous website. We can't really prove it.
Okay.
So, whatever.
Okay. I did want to ask you, I guess in the lead up to this, there's been some kind of mention about trauma bonding. Cam tells you a particularly sensitive story about his. You tell him, apparently, a very similar thing that happened to you.
I've never been butt raped, ever. I don't know where he's getting that or why he's telling people that. I'm fine.
Okay.
He had whatever he had happen to him. I'm fine. There was no trauma bonding.
Okay. And so there's... sorry to press, but just to clarify, so you've never told Cam about any story about, like, indecent assault or sexual assault or anything like that?
Not at that point, no.
Okay. 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 So there was never any kind of pressing or kissing or anything like that when you had the 2 interviews. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. And then you meet up for the 3rd time that he starts to get handsy. Walk me through that day, I guess. Where were you? What happened? What was the process? Where did he pick you up? What were you gonna do? Just to the best of your recollection, I suppose.
Okay. No idea about the first of any of that. I remember texting him. I was super excited because I got new gummies. So I was blazed that morning. Sorry. Completely my fault. That's my bad.
So you were high during the day.
Yes.
Okay.
So around, I don't know, it was later in the day. It wasn't totally nighttime, but it was later. And he
I guess I should probably say, just
repeatedly
to
was
clarify
asking me
before we
out.
move on. Do you remember kind of roughly how strong the edibles were?
Okay.
It's fine if you don't. I'm just wondering if
I
if you have
took
that detail.
2 orange 25s and 1 blueberry 50. So that's 100.
100 milligrams.
Yeah. Well, it's dispensary stuff. It's like I can take a 50 and be fine.
Okay.
Or well, I could at the time. I was high literally every day. My tolerance was great.
Okay. I guess how would 100 milligrams affect you? Like, would it be quite strong? The effect?
Like can't go up and down steps, but can effectively play Phasmophobia.
Okay. 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 Fab. Brilliant. So I guess walk me through that that day as well as you can remember it.
Okay, I don't remember the first part. I don't remember like where we went before. I think we might have been to Dunkin' Donuts, but I don't know.
Mhm.
He was getting like weird about it. He was like, "So we've been talking for a while, and I think I feel a connection with you because no one gets me like you do." And I was like, "I don't know, dude, you're kind of ugly." And he has said this before. I don't know where it is. It's probably somewhere on Kiwi Farms. They screenshot everything. But I directly told him multiple times, and he told other girls that I was being mean to him because I called him ugly. I had no interest in him. I made it very clear.
So there's screenshots on Kiwi Farms of him saying that you'd called him ugly. Is that
I'm pretty sure Eve posted them.
okay? Okay. Fair play. Fair play.
But yeah, so I was like, "No, I'm not interested." And he was like, "I really like eating girls out." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not interested." And I gave him a whole bunch of reasons why. Just like mostly I'm not into that. Um, especially not with someone who looks like him. So I just repeatedly was telling him, like, "No, I'm not really into that." And he was like, "No, you'll be fine." And I was like, "No, leave me alone. No, I'm not doing that." And he picked me up, like physically lifted me, and tried to move my pants and put me down on his face. And I was kicking him because, like, what the fuck? You can't just do that.
So you were
So he
at this
was
time you were in a hotel
unsuccessful.
room with him. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a motel.
Okay.
I don't know how many times we went there. I think we went there twice. Once because after the interview in the car, it was noisy because it was a car.
Okay.
So, yeah,
And
I
so
think.
he said, I guess this was the second time that you met up, and the first time that you second time you met up was the first time you went to the motel, and he said he wanted to go there because that would have better sound quality.
Yes.
Okay. And so I guess the third time you meet up, you're going around Dunkin' Donuts, hanging out. He's being pushy. Is that before you're in the hotel room? Or is that after you get in there and you're alone together?
Looking back, he was talking a lot about Krexa and that stuff, so I think he was hinting to it all day, but I am formally diagnosed with autism. I do not pick up on hints. So, in retrospect, I have no idea what kind of messages he was sending me subtly.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. Listen, if you need to like take a breather when I ask you like a question to like record the details, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's yeah. Anyway, so you get into the motel room, and then he starts to be kind of a little bit pushy, or he starts trying to take things in a certain direction between the two of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went home really quickly after. I think I had said something really bitchy to him, and he took me home because he was mad at me.
And this was after sex?
No. It was after he attempted to put me on his face.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean after the, I guess the sexual encounter. Pardon me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because the way that, I guess you'll be aware that the way that he's phrased this is that you were alone, but you were in a parking lot, and then he tried to pick you up to hug you, but it was non-sexual.
I don't know why he's telling people that. I think it's just because that's the only thing he can come up with that fits the context of the call.
Okay.
But that never happened.
Okay. Okay. So I guess just to lay it out in one kind of like thing, you walk into the motel room together. What goes on from that point?
I'm sorry, can you repeat all of that?
Yeah, sure thing. Sorry if it feels
Sorry,
like I'm
looking at the
looping. I just
clapping
want to
is
make sure
gross
that I've
meme
got
in
like.
chat. I'm sorry.
Don't read the chat. I'm telling you, okay?
No, in your Discord.
This is very,
it's
very important. You must not read the chat. I'll be honest with you, I don't either, okay? So don't feel bad. They can be ignored. But yeah. So walk me through. You get into the motel room. You walk through the door. I guess how long are you there? What happens while you're in there? Give me a little bit of like an insight into that.
It was dark the whole time I was there, so I don't remember how long it was. The Google timeline should show you when I got home.
Mm-hmm.
I think that shows my whole visit. I just remember that he did that right before he took me home.
Okay. Let me have
I
a
said something
gander.
really mean to him, but I forget what it was.
So, are you okay with me giving these locations of the motel?
Do you have like the addresses blurred?
I'm not gonna show them on stream, but just to say that you
Oh,
do
yeah,
recognize that
yeah,
is
go
what
for
we're
it.
talking about. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't show any of my personal info on stream, please and thank you.
Don't worry. I'm not going to. Okay. So it's the Best Western Westgate Inn. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
Okay. So you're there from 3:12 in the afternoon to 5:39 in the afternoon, and then you drive around for a bit, and then you return there, and you're there from
Oh my
6:37
god. Yeah, we
to
stopped there for the
8:48.
interview, and then we didn't finish it because I got hungry and I wanted Dunkin'. I think. Did we go to Dunkin' or did we go to Sheetz? You have this stuff right in front of you. I don't know. We got food somewhere.
Okay, and this is the first time when you were doing the interview, right? Second time you met up, first time in the motel.
Oh my god, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's okay. It's fine if you don't remember. Okay, so
That's why I sent you just the raw location data.
that's totally fine. Yeah. And so I guess the third time that you met up, talking about, I guess, the alleged kind of like sexual contact. What happened there? You walk in, it's dark, it's late.
I don't know. I think that we were trying to do part 2 of the interview. And we were not on the couch because we discovered earlier that the couch was really bony or well, the couch made my butt feel bony, so I didn't like it.
Mhm.
So I wanted to sit on the bed. And that totally gave him the wrong impression. But, like, I repeatedly said no when he was asking if I wanted to do anything. So I feel like that should have corrected the impression,
Okay. So is
but I
this,
guess not.
to be clear, is this the second time that you've met up and you've gone into the motel? Or is this the third time when you're just hanging out?
I think that was the third. God, I don't know.
Okay.
I know that we met twice over Thanksgiving and twice over Christmas break.
Okay. So this was during the Christmas break, was it?
Okay, then it was the third time.
Okay, cool. So during this time, he's still trying to interview you?
Yeah, that was about. Oh, because I think that he finally was mad at Alex, and they were having like a bad week or something. They were so on and off.
Okay.
But yeah, they must have been having a bad week, so he wanted to interview me about Alex.
Okay. So, Brill, pardon me. So, third time you met up, cool. And so you've moved to the bed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he tried to get weird,
Okay.
so I kicked him. And then I said something mean, and he took me home.
Okay. And when he was trying to be weird, that was picking you up and trying to, I think you said in your Blue Sky post, put your vulva to his face?
Yeah, he was like trying to pull down my sweatpants, and he was
Yeah. It's
he was just being freaky.
Okay. Yeah, sorry if you feel like I'm asking a question that you don't want to answer, or if you kind of want to say give less details, feel free to tell me, and I can rephrase it if you'd like. Because obviously it's uncomfortable to talk about some
No,
of this.
you're fine. I don't know. It's gonna be awkward no matter how you ask it.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so then he takes you home. When did the kiss happen?
That was the next time we met. One more time after all the reports, because he was telling the RO sauna people a whole bunch of stuff, and he was getting them all to make multiple reports. He was doing it under the guise of like, I'm so worried about her, but he was just making shit up to harass me using the system instead of him, because I had blocked all of his stuff at that point. And so he was calling me on new numbers every
what
night.
led to you blocking him, by the way? What led to that breakdown in the I guess the association, the relationship,
He wouldn't leave me alone after he tried to get weird, and I was like, dude, fuck off, you're weird. And he wouldn't.
Okay. Okay. So then you meet up again over the Christmas break for the fourth time because he says he wants to speak to you about the CPS calls.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess walk me through that day.
We went to another church parking lot. He took me to Dunkin' because he was trying to warm me up to him, and he knows that I like Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. So he took me there, and he was trying to get me to warm up to him again, and he was being weird the whole time. He was like, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't mean to, and it wasn't really my fault, and you were nonverbal. You're bad at communicating. And it was just like a whole thing. And I, all day, was being like, ugh, whatever. You're a jerk, leave me alone. So he tried, we were like 40 minutes away from my house. And I wanted to go home because I was just so done with him, and he would not take me home like all day. And I wasn't panicking until it was nighttime. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna kill me, which I doubt he would. But, I was panicking because he wouldn't let me out of his car. And then he was like, well,
So
just
to be
give me
clear
a
on
kiss
that,
before you go.
just
And I
you
was
say
like,
that he
okay,
didn't let you
no.
out of his car.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you ask to be let out?
Yeah, multiple times. I've been telling him all day, take me home, let me out. And he wouldn't.
Okay. And at some point
I came up with like a curfew thing. I was like, my dad's texting me and he really wants me home. I need to go home now, which is not true. My dad did not care where I was as long as I let him know I would not be home that night.
Okay.
So that was, ugh.
Okay. So at some
So
point,
I was coming up with every excuse in the book to go home. He would not let me go home. And then he was like, just kiss me before you go. And I was like, no, oh my God, I don't wanna. Can you just take me home? And he was like, no, I'm not letting you out until you kiss me. And I was like, what the fuck? That's immature. And he was like, well, I just really want to spend time with you. I feel like we have such a connection and I feel bad. I don't want to burn any more bridges. And he went on this thing about how all of his friends leave him and Alex betrayed him. And just, I don't know, like a sympathy thing, tried to get me to kiss him. And I was like, oh my God, no. And then he grabbed me by my shoulder and he pulled me over onto him and he kissed me. And then he finally drove me home. And I was looking out the other direction, trying not to cry the entire ride. But he wasn't actually taking me home. He was taking me close to my grandma's house so that I could come into my grandma's house. And my mom was there. And I told my mom, like, I met with a guy and my dad doesn't know that I met with him and I just need you to take me home. So then my mom took me home.
so did he take you?
I had to
Did he
walk a
take you
little
to
bit
your
to my
grandma's
grandma's.
house? Did he take you to grandma's house at your request, or was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't want to be in the car with him for 40 more minutes. So I just went to the nearest relative's house.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I guess that makes sense. So to clarify, the conversation about the kiss and spending more time together, that was during the same conversation together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So it's some time after this, you, I believe, with Crexer, publish or talk about some kind of information about how kind of things happened. I guess how did it get out in the public? How does everyone else know?
So first I told these are two so unimportant side characters. Kiwi Farms has screenshots of them. It's Sam and Keith. They were two like huge Yandere fans, and then they switched over to Arosana when the whole drama stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, I don't know, the ultimate Cameron dick riders. And then they met me, and I don't know, they liked me more. So they were telling me like, oh my God, that's illegal. You have to go to someone about this. That's terrible. I can't believe he did that to you. So they started telling people about it first. And then I was talking to Krexa about it, and I was like, you have a story? I have a story. He kind of pissed me off. He really pissed you off. And she made a post somewhere. But I feel like that was not after the last time. I think that was after the motel thing, not after the kiss thing.
Okay.
I think.
So this was.
I don't know what
sometime
else she was
in-
up to. I wasn't fully involved.
Okay. So I guess how does the information get out there? You're talking to Crexer. You leak it to her privately. Who uses the word rape? I guess is my question.
I think that I did just to simplify it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know, he got all weird about it and he was like, it doesn't fit the definition. So I looked up the definition and it didn't fit it. So then I made a Twitter post that's like, it doesn't fit the definition, and so did Keith.
Mm-hmm.
So then I stopped calling it that and instead started referring to it as unconsensual attempted oral, because that's the definition. Even it was an attempted assault. It's
Yeah, I mean that's totally fair.
not to be like a bitch, but same difference. Get over it.
Okay.
Everyone was being super sensitive about it.
Okay. So at some point, you and Cameron get into contact, and there's something about scripting calls together, or I guess before that, I should probably
Every
ask about the
single
call
call-
that you released, where Cameron is being recorded without his knowledge, and you're confronting him about these issues. I guess tell me a little bit about that.
I was just tired of people calling me a liar, so I was like, fine, I'll record it. And so I sent it to Diesel.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So where does that take us up to after you're recording calls with with Cameron. Do you remember what month that happened?
No.
That's fair. Okay. So at some point there's a falling out between you and Cameron. And I guess before we go on to scripting calls, is this before? Okay. You allege that calls happened between you and Cameron, and he scripted them because he was messaging you in DMs, and that's
That was from
apparently
the very start. As soon as we had that group chat with Alex, Alex was telling us the narrative he wanted. Cameron was like, they were going back and forth. Like, Alex would say, I want you to paint me in this light. And Cameron would say, well, I can't do that because you already admitted to it, but I can do this instead. So they were like doing their whole PR thing. And I was just along for the ride, and I felt really guilty about what I did to Alex. So I was listening. I was like, damn, sorry, I kind of ruined your career. The least I can do is make you look better.
Okay.
So I started participating in their scripted calls, and it wasn't scripted like word for word. It was just like, respond positively to this and make sure they know that Alex didn't do this. And then
Okay.
that was happening the entire time. And Cameron started asking me to do it for him, and I was like, ugh, okay, whatever. Just leave me alone afterwards.
I guess
And
there's
spoiler, he did not leave me alone afterwards.
at some point, you make a tweet where you say, from a Twitter account called Yandere Devs Victim, I wanted to clear some things up. This game is very important to me. No one deserves to be lied about. I, the only victim, and making a statement, I chose to stay. Choose to stay. Fuck! Now I'm messing up my words. Choose to listen or stay ignorant. And this was you that posted this, right? I can share my screen if you'd like. Pardon me.
Yeah, just share this. I had a couple accounts at the time. Oh, that is my account. But that whole statement. Okay, so I wrote an original one, and the original one was really, really good, but it was super mean to Allie, and it was like hating on r/Asana because it was full of the queers, and I'm not a fan of them. And they were just, it was like a whole thing. So both of them made me fix it so that I didn't sound so mean. And then Alex was like, I'll just take it over. And then Cameron revised it to make it sound more teenagery after Alex did his edits.
So you wrote an initial statement, Alex made his edits, and then Cameron had a further editorial role in it, and then it was published.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I'd heard about this.
There are screenshots of all of that.
Okay. So at this time, why did you kind of go back on what you said about Yandere Dev? Is it because it kind of like ruined his career, or kind of a sympathy thing for him?
Yeah, dude, poor Alex. He's just like a socially inept autistic guy. He has other. Hold on a second.
Okay, that's fine. What was I asking? Oh yeah, pardon me. So at this point, it was purely out of sympathy, and oh sorry, I didn't know if you were back. Sorry, you're still muted.
Yeah, it was out of sympathy because he has other disabilities. So he went to school in like the 90s, and I don't know how old you are, but my dad was alive in the 90s, and he said that getting accommodations for stuff like disabilities wasn't really a thing. They didn't really exist, but he had an assistant, like a teacher's aide who would help him with things day to day, and he had to be in social classes with the guidance counselor. So to have those accommodations back when he did has to be some kind of hardcore special person.
Okay. Okay. Well, to clarify, I'm in my early 20s, so I don't know about that. But okay, that makes sense. Okay, so in this statement, it's probably you made it to defend him, and would you say that you lied during it? In the original statement that you wrote?
Yeah, for sure. I lied nonstop trying to backtrack what I did to Alex. I felt so bad for him.
Okay. Okay.
Especially after he started donating to charity, and he was like, I never meant to hurt you if I did. And I was like, no, I baited you. I'm so sorry. It's fine. You're chill. So he actually felt super guilty. And then I felt guilty because it wasn't really his fault. I
Okay.
took advantage of a disabled guy.
Because then you carried on having a friendship with Yanderedev for a little while, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, moving on to, I guess, the discussion about Cam, you're saying that in the same way that there would be calls, or this kind of was editorialized and changed by Yanderedev and Cam, it would be the same for calls that you were in with Cam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess so. There seems to be a concerted effort with you and Cam. You're talking back and forth. You're talking about the public narrative. There's claims that you're being abused. Cam seems very, very kind of concerned about narratives that he raped you. And you seem to be collaborating to try and dispel public narratives about each of you. Are you saying during those
I just
scripted
wanted
calls
it all to
you
go away.
lied during that, or is they, because so far we don't have too much of those calls. Are they out of context? Are they, scripted, or what's going
So
on?
the two calls that were in the original document, I don't know what he edited, but I was watching a stream earlier that said he was editing this stuff, so I don't know if he took it out. But the two original calls that Kui, how do I pronounce that guy's name?
Queeman.
The red eyeball guy? Yeah. So him. The two calls that he listened to, and he was like, these are out of context. Those are out of context, and I'm so positive that they're spliced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. His mic sounds different, and I can't describe the difference between his AirPod phone and computer mic, but they're all different.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Okay. That makes sense. So during this, was this these were calls that you alleged that there was kind of communications over DMs while they were being kind of while they were going on, is that right? During those two calls?
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew that you were being recorded.
Sometimes I knew I was being recorded.
Okay.
Sometimes we were just like playing Among Us or something, and he would record a statement that I made totally out of context playing Among Us and cut it up and send it to people and be like, see, she's manipulative. And I was playing Among Us. Like he's such a dick with that. He did so many of those things. That's why he won't send the full calls to anyone.
So you're saying that not the calls weren't just talking about this kind of stuff. He was also recording when you were just like playing video games together.
He recorded literally every single call that we had.
Okay.
And I know that because the longer versions of calls that he's released are bits and pieces of multiple different calls.
Okay. Okay. Because there seems to be some parts of those calls where he says to you, did I ever sexually assault you? Did I ever rape you?
Oh my
Did
god.
I ever do
Yeah,
weird
okay.
stuff?
So there was one person in Osana. I don't know, but who claimed that something happened after our first interview, and Krexa was trying to ask me and ask leading questions. Granted, Krexa is psychotic.
Mhm.
She was really trying to take him down. She was totally trying to push a narrative. That's on me for not realizing. But that was after the first interview. Nothing had happened at that point.
Okay. Okay. So you were talking specifically about that rape allegation. When he was asking you, have I ever sexually assaulted you? Have I ever raped you? On and on.
Yes.
Okay.
But the response where I said I was having a Spurg freakout and not a rational response is from a different call. I don't know which call it's from, though. But those were not together.
Okay. Okay. And then in reference to, I guess we can move on to the blackmail, okay? And the discussion of the blackmail. So, do you ever recall saying to Cameron that he had to do something, otherwise you would do some kind of negative action that he wouldn't like?
The only times I ever did that is when he was lying. He would go and lie about me to someone, and they would screenshot it and show it to me because a lot more people were on my side than he thought.
Mhm.
And I would be like, Cameron, I just got a screenshot. If you don't stop lying about me, I'm going to tell them what really happened. And typically what really happened was like in a longer call, and I didn't actually have those recorded. I was bluffing, but it would be like him saying the hard R or something. And he would get so scared that I was going to leak that stuff.
Okay.
So he would back.
No, sorry, go on.
But that was only if he was lying about me. I never did that for him to force him to lie about me. I only did that so he would stop lying about me.
Okay. Okay. So there was some conversation about, I guess going back to these conversations you having back and forth, where Cam asks you about a particular detail, a particular kind of moment, a thing that you said, and you said that you were manic, and maybe you thought you were BPD. Do you recall that? Do you remember that? Do you have like an explanation for that? Or...
In real life boyfriend had just broken up with me, and I went psychotic. I went to his house. I poured my perfume all over his room. The call that was about was totally unrelated. I was being a psycho ex-girlfriend at that moment, and then I was ranting to Cameron about it because I had no real life friends to talk to. So
okay.
That was a totally separate thing. I don't know why he's including that in all this stuff.
Okay. 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 So you're saying there was no time that you were threatening to release public information, or sorry, private information that he told you in confidence as a threat to make him do something.
I didn't make him do anything other than, well, yeah, no, I didn't make him do anything. I was bluffing. I was acting like I was recording calls. So he would send someone something and I would be like, Cameron, I have the full thing recorded. If you don't take that back now, I'm going to send them the full thing. So that's not really blackmail. And it wasn't really a threat. And I don't know what he's claiming I have over him that he would kill himself over.
Mm-hmm.
That's dramatic. I don't have any information like that. Or at least nothing that I think is that bad.
Okay.
Like, the only thing I can think of that would actually make him so stressed to get out would be the assault thing.
You don't need to reveal that. That's okay. I don't... I guess you've already made your... Well, to be fair, I mean, you've already made your Blue Sky post, so yeah. So there was an allegation of I guess being anally violated, anally raped when he was young. Something about butt plugs, and there was something about suicide attempts. You thought it could be one of those three things. You said in your post.
Yeah, it's gotta be one of those three, but like, hey, they're public now. Oops.
Okay. Okay. But you're saying you never used any of those three pieces of information ever to blackmail him?
No.
Okay.
That's not blackmail worthy. Those make him seem way too sympathetic.
You
Other
say
than the
that
butt plug thing, but that's just embarrassing, not something to kill yourself over.
You say that, but isn't it understandable that somebody would feel perturbed, upset, if that were to be released about them? Whether that makes them seem sympathetic or not, that can still be a threat that could negatively affect somebody.
If you're a pussy.
Well, no, if somebody has like severe sexual trauma.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm so sure.
Okay. I guess I did want to question you about that. Okay. One piece of information that I've wanted to put together, that hasn't been answered, at least to my mind so far, is this screen recording here. Okay. Now I'm not sure exactly what the date is here, but this is regarding Cam having leaked some kind of screenshot to YouTubers about yourself. That's right?
I sent this screen recording to Callie Merca. She's an artist. She does art commentary. Yes. I have no idea what it was about. I don't know what it was about. Sorry.
Okay. Sends it to a YouTuber to make me look bad, and he says that's not what I did. You can't remember exactly what this is about.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
do you remember
like
when?
obviously you don't. I agree with what I said. You don't accidentally send 3 screenshots.
Okay.
I had every right to be mad. I don't even know what he did, but I know he did it.
Okay. Do you have any recollection of exactly when this was?
When I was talking to Callie. No, but I think Diesel might.
Okay.
Would he?
If
I
I
don't,
were
he
to
has
say,
like a full timeline. I think if you ask him for a full timeline, he's got it.
okay. If I were to say that these were after January, so in 2024, that sounds correct? Would that sound right?
Could be.
Okay.
When did Diesel post his video? If it was about sending stuff to YouTubers, then it was at a time that he was talking to YouTubers.
Okay. Wait, not Diesel IRL. Fuck. Give me one moment, sorry. Okay. Because the date
In August of 20...
is a little bit important here, okay? Okay, so this would have been March 17th, 2024.
Yeah, that checks out.
Okay. Because the thing that I wanted to ask about this is that it does seem as though there is some kind of relationship or emotional attachment
Oh my god,
during this time.
because he called me babe. I was complaining so much to Allie about that. Not Allie, Callie. God, why do they...
Mhm.
No, I complained about that. I remember complaining about him saying that. Because, okay, so, like, first, that's my least favorite pet name. It feels ghetto. I'm not a fan of it.
Mhm.
But, like, there was nothing... I don't know. He just talks like that. He talks like his black roommate. It's weird.
Okay. Because not only does he call you babe here, he says, I beg of you on everything, you're my life.
Yeah, he was weirdly into me, and I don't know why.
Okay. And then later on, you do call him dude, but then he says that something about we can work this out. Let us work this out. This seems to imply, at least to me, when I read this, that this is a conversation had between two people in a relationship.
I'm fairly certain he thought that there was more going on than there was, based on him repeatedly trying to kiss me and do sexual stuff with me and always trying to talk to me. But I don't know what his problem is, because I told him on multiple occasions that he's ugly and weird.
Okay, so you're rejecting that there was ever an emotional relationship at any point.
It was not.
Okay. Okay. Then there was something about meeting up during spring break. He asked, you said no.
We did not. We never, yeah. Of course I did.
Mhm.
Ew.
Okay, but he asked, you said no, and then there's some conversation, there's a screenshot where he's saying, I don't think I will come over and see you during spring break, and you say, yeah, because I literally told you no.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So is that the kind of tone that you would have normally, where he's trying to flirt with you?
That's the kind of tone I had all the time with him.
Okay. Just that I only bring that up just to kind of like ask exactly the kind of tone that you're talking about with him trying to be kind of forward or
so he was
just
also
to make sure your
recording and
claim is
screenshotting everything.
Mhm.
I think he was trying to talk to me as if we were in a relationship because he previously told people we were, and I corrected that very quickly because I had zero interest in him.
Mhm.
So I think because he was recording everything, he was like staging it to make it look like we were together because he's a desperate freak.
But you understand that by that same brush, you were recording this. And so when you take screenshots of things, it could very well be the other way, that you're trying to frame interactions as if you aren't together.
Oh. Yeah, it's double-edged. It can totally come across like that.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of it that okay. I wasn't, but, like, yeah, that's totally valid.
Okay.
Oh, but this was not, like, a staged preemptive thing. This was, like, he was spam calling me, and I was texting Callie at that exact moment, so I just started screen recording this specific thing, spur of the moment, and I think she can confirm that, but, like, for other things, I don't have more witnesses, so, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
That's up to you.
Yeah. So apparently, when did you stop speaking to Cameron?
I don't remember an exact time. Up until 2-ish months ago, he was still making burner numbers to call me at like 4 in the morning.
You saying as of
So-
2 months ago this happened?
Yeah, he wouldn't leave me alone for a while. He
if
called me and
if
he
they're
told
burner
me
numbers, how do you know that it's him?
because I would answer them. I would be like, "Hello," expecting it to be one of those people who's like, "You didn't pay a toll" or
Mhm.
something, and then it would be like, "Hey, I miss you," and I would be like, "Ew, who is this?" Because it could be one of two guys, and it was always him.
Okay. Do you have I guess screenshots of your kind of like phone records or your kind of call log on your phone? Do you have anything that you could I guess send to substantiate that?
I can go into my call logs right now. I did recently switch to T-Mobile. I don't know if that did anything different.
If
But, like,
it's
can I see my...
whether you've changed your provider, it should
Right.
still be the same on your phone.
Okay. So would it be, like, in recent, and then I just have to scroll down a whole bunch?
Yeah.
Because it'll just show up as a random number, but, like, I can highlight all the random numbers for you.
That might be useful, at least to kind of like substantiate the claim. But okay, so you're saying as of 2 months ago, he was still trying to get in contact with you,
Yeah.
and these
He called me
conversations.
about 2 months ago to say that so, the last one, he didn't tell me that he missed me. He was like, "I thought I should just let you know that I have a girlfriend now." And I was like, "Sure you do. Don't call me."
Okay, and that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait, and does he have a girlfriend? Yeah, because she was in the live yesterday. He actually might have one.
okay, um, okay, I think at least of fleshing out a timeline that is kind of up to the present.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess you kind
And
of...
then Diesel released his video.
Yeah, you
And
kind of
I
address...
saw everything going on, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's still talking about me." So,
Okay. Let me go through, just because I want to take a look at the kind of statements you made and maybe see if there's anything else that I can ask you about. Apologies about this.
yeah, sorry, I haven't been much help. I don't want to say something and then be wrong because I don't remember. So I just have to tell you that I don't know, because if I don't know, I don't want to accidentally screw myself.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I wouldn't want you to say something you're not aware of. I think it was on one of these things. You say you're now married. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay. Congratulations.
thanks.
So one of your accounts isn't even gone. It's the one I give the login info to. Alex and Cam both had the login, so they can do whatever they had stuff to do, like high school finals and getting high. Okay. So what account is this? Because I know that you had a Twitter that was banned or suspended.
It
You
was
have
a Discord account. It's the one that I spoke to them the most on. So whenever Cameron claims that the account was termed, that's not true. The account is still active. I just don't have access to it anymore. But my friend contacted me a while ago, and they were like, I've been texting you on Discord and you're not responding. They DM'd me on Steam, and I was like, what do you mean? Isn't that account gone? I'm pretty sure I deleted it. And they were like, no, it's still up. And they sent me a screenshot, and it was still up.
What's the username?
So one of them restored it before it was deleted.
Oh, okay, so it is now deleted.
It might be now. I haven't checked on it for a while,
What's
but
the username?
as
This is a
far as
Discord
I know,
account.
when I chose to delete it, you have like a 15-day window to not delete it. You can click like the recover or restore account thing, and then none of your stuff is deleted, and you just go back to using the account as normal.
Is this small adolescent?
Oh my god, is it? Does it still have the cute picture of the anime girl me?
Well, I was just asking you because of I guess what the does that sound correct? I mean that is an account that I know
I'm
that
gonna
did
send you the
exist.
profile picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple accounts named that because I actually was termed multiple times with that username. Is it this profile picture? I just sent you a picture of it. Because if it's that one, then yes, that's the one that both of them have.
Yes, that is at least
yes,
one.
It's still up.
Well,
He's such a liar.
It's not, unfortunately. So
Oh,
I
it
just
really?
sorry. I just tried to send a friend request to it. Okay. Okay. So do you have evidence anywhere of kind of turning that account over, or is that not something that you have?
No, that was an alt account that I made while I was still in the group chat. So the original account that I sent that stuff over on, Cameron still has access to that group chat. He's on the same account, but me and Alex both got termed like a week later. So neither of us have that group chat anymore.
And when was the last message sent to that group chat, I suppose?
I don't know.
Rough
Probably
kind of
like
ballpark.
October.
And that's of 2023.
Yeah, because that was when Cameron was doing his PR stuff, and then my Discord got termed.
Okay. Okay. Did you okay. So did you bait Yandere Dev or not?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Because it seems at some point tell me if this is a fake screenshot or whatever. Here you seem to be saying I did not have to bait Alex for bad behavior. He did it unprovoked because he is a pedophile.
Oh, like I didn't have to bait him into asking me for stuff. He did that all on his own. But like in general, I would bait him into answering questions about cisfs or other dramas so that I could send that to Allie for her video. Like all of the sexual stuff between us, there was no effort that I had to put into that. He's desperate.
Okay. Because do you remember when exactly the date was that you sent this message on?
Nope.
Okay. I'll try and have a look at that. But it seems as though in this screenshot, you don't have sympathy for Yandere Dev. You're talking about bad behavior. You're saying unprovoked because he's a pedophile. I guess that seems like can you square that circle, or what's your response to that?
He can be a pedophile and mentally disabled. Two things can be true at once. I feel bad for him because he's socially inept and he really didn't deserve all this hate. But he's still attracted to kids. Like that's not my problem.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. Bomb. Okay. Sorry, I was going through these messages to ask you about stuff. Okay. So how did you first hear, actually, that this drama had been reignited?
Oh my god. My friend sent me, here, hold on. I have it on Telegram because I talk to people on Telegram. But my friend sent me a screenshot on May 16th at 3:45 a.m. of it was a yeah, that guy.
The
Of
tweet.
the thing. And he was like, "Is that true?" Sent it, yeah.
So
So
this is the
my
screenshot
friend
that you
sent me a
received.
screenshot of a tweet. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. That's good to know, I suppose. So that's when you made the okay. So that's when you became aware of it. Okay. Da-da-da-da. And this okay. I mean, during a lot of this, okay, it seems as though you seem somewhat vindictive. You're saying yes, keep admitting to stuff. More ha 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 ha.
It was
Direct
really
quotes.
funny. I was watching the Diesel stream of him reacting to Aiden, and
Mhm.
it was, oh my god, it was so funny. Because I was watching him crash out, and it was, I, it feels really nice when people who bother you for months and months and lie about you constantly dig their own grave. Feels wonderful.
Okay. So Cameron wishes he had my foot over his head. I, for the life of me, could not understand what you meant here. Can you kind of elaborate?
I was live reacting to they timed me out in chat for stirring up drama, so I was pretty much using this as chat, and I was posting stuff live as I was watching it.
Okay.
Because a few people in chat were also looking at my blue sky.
Ah. Okay.
So that was a response to something that who's the was it Op
Opblock
Block?
or Felgi, yeah.
It was some
Felgi?
old guy. I probably there was some old guy in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was the one that I was laughing at.
Okay. So here's the thing about the about deleting evidence as well. I forgot to ask you about this. So there's allegations that you have been in calls with Cam, and he's been showing you his screen, and he's been told apparently by you to delete calls, to delete evidence. I guess, how do you respond to that?
Never happened. And anyone who would actually listen to someone over Discord telling them to delete stuff is a special person.
So you're saying there isn't a DM out there of you asking to see his computer screen, and to tell him to delete evidence and delete calls?
Yeah, no, that did not happen.
Okay. 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 I think that's probably everything. Would you mind, if people wanted to, having other people in here to maybe field some questions from people? Is that okay?
Oh,
Or
go for it.
you may even be able to speak to Kui Man, I believe.
Really?
Maybe. I'll see if he's interested. But yeah, there we are. If anyone, content creators, want to hop in, just because obviously my focus here has been kind of like laying out a timeline. Whereas, I mean, Cam had other people call in, to question him. So I feel like it's probably only fair if you're kind of happy with it.
Oh, totally.
Okay. I believe there's also slug. Okay. Okay. One moment, sorry. I don't know if anyone's watching. I know that people are spectating, okay? If there are creators that want to speak to Jelly, to put questions to her, to criticize her, to ask her questions, whatever, okay, feel free to hop into the waiting room, okay? But yeah, there we are. Sorry about that. I don't know if we are. Okay. Otherwise, I may field questions from chat.
Oh, chat. The ones that I'm not supposed to read.
Those are the ones. Yeah, those are the ones. Fuck. One moment. My internet just shat the bed for a very, very brief moment. I apologize. Although, there is no better time for it to happen, actually, when I think about it. Okay. So, apparently, you seem really eager to support, you seem really eager to suggest that these guys were head over heels for you, but you also kept on engaging with them, despite the fact that you say that they're gross. So I guess, why did you carry on engaging with them?
Okay, I had to keep dealing with two of them. For one, I was in JROTC with the other guy who I referred to earlier that could have been calling me. I have a no contact order, or a PFA? I have a PFA against him. Like, we don't interact anymore. I could not get away. He was taking pictures of my house and hiding under my porch. He was a freak.
Wait, who is this? Sorry.
Okay. Oh god. His name is... I'll just send you the thing. I can just send you a picture of, like, the court order thingy that I got in the mail.
Okay.
But I don't want you to leak his name publicly because the other girl involved is 11, and I don't need people investigating that stuff.
Okay.
So he's like a hardcore freak. It's not just me bragging. He's an actual creep, not the kind of guy you want to get stalked by.
So, is this somebody that you met through Yandere Dev, or is this somebody
No,
completely
that's an
unrelated?
IRL guy. We were in school together. We had JROTC together.
Okay.
Oh, you're British. Do you know what JROTC is?
I don't know.
It's like high school military prep for us Americans.
Okay. Interesting. But I guess the question would be, why did you carry on engaging with Cam specifically? If you thought he was so disgusting, if you thought he was a freak, why did you carry on chatting to him?
Because every time I blocked him, he would call the cops to my house, and even though my dad asked if we could be put on some sort of list so that they stopped having to show up, because I was a minor, they had to take every claim seriously, so they couldn't not show up. So they were showing up at random times throughout the day, or showing up to school and bothering me. And I was really annoyed with it. So I would give in and talk to Cameron because that was the only way he would leave me alone.
So you're claiming that the only reason that you spoke to Cam was that he would carry on engaging with you, well, from afar, making these false CPS reports.
Yep.
Okay, just to clarify. We have got Kuiman, he's in the waiting room. Here he is.
Oh my god, hi!
Hi. So I haven't heard the whole conversation, so I might repeat stuff.
Okay.
So in the car incident, how many times would you say he asked you to kiss him before letting you out of the car?
I do not know how many times, but the conversation was going on for like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. And most of the conversation was like, how did the conversation roughly go? Like, was it mostly about kissing? Was it mostly about, oh, I want to spend more time with you? What was the...
He wanted to spend more time with me, and the only way that he would let me leave is if he got to kiss me. So that was his compromise for me not wanting to spend time with him.
So what, he was... Okay, I think... So he's like saying, can we spend more time together? And you're saying, no, I've got curfew or whatever. And then eventually he's like, okay, well I'll let you out if you give me a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got you. I'm trying to think. So You say so. There are 4 times you met. 2 were for interviews, apparently.
Yes, and then the last one was like a clearing the air type thing. Okay.
Right. So there's the first 2, which are explicitly interviews. Then there's this third one where you just hang out, and then the fourth one. This is the one where he says basically, "Oh, you're getting these CPS reports. We should clear the air by meeting."
Yeah.
Okay. So the first 2 interviews were specifically about Yandere Dev.
Yep.
Were these interviews made public, or did they happen on a live stream, or?
No, he was just recording them using his phone recorder thingy. I don't know if he posted them. I think he might have posted them in his first video. I know he made a video at some point about Alex, but I think he took it down. He privated and deleted a whole bunch of his videos. Actually, I think that Diesel was seeing that happen live.
Okay. And so did it seem like do you think the point of these interviews was actually the interviews, or was he just using this as a pretext to meet?
Pretty sure that's what he was doing, but I wasn't suspecting him of that. I don't know. I don't think the worst of people, so I didn't think that that's what he was doing. But obviously, looking back, that's what he was doing.
Okay.
And to be clear, leading up to that fourth time that you met, was it explicit that Cam said that he was the one, or he was involved with making these CPS reports?
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
Before you met up for that 4th time, was it explicit that Cam said that he was involved with, or was the one making those CPS reports?
Yes.
Okay. Was it him himself,
So wait,
or was he involved?
he was involved with making the CPS. It wasn't just people are making
That's
them.
what
It
he
was
claims. After watching Diesel's video, I'm fairly certain that Diesel made a couple reports, but I don't think that he was the one making nonstop calls.
okay.
I
So
think
why
Cameron
was he making the CPS reports? What was the basis for
he
that?
was trying to bother me because I blocked him, and he was like, "We need to talk about this. We need to talk. I have no other way to reach you. We need to talk."
Okay, he claims, and this is obviously sensitive, but he claims there's like some sexual trauma or something in your family that he was was that the basis he was using for it? What was he sort of like claiming with the CPS stuff?
Yeah, he claimed that my dad raped me, which is crazy.
And you've never said anything like that to him?
No, my dad and I have a great relationship, and it's not weird, and I don't know what his problem was.
I believe there was
Have
also
you-
a
have you
claim about
told-
your mother. Is there any truth to that? Did you ever complain about your mum kind of mistreating you, or I guess any part of that?
I'm sure that I've complained about my mom, but I was also a 16-year-old girl. I don't think any teenage girl gets along with their mom. But it was never enough for, like, a CPS report.
Okay, did you potentially ever say, like, did you ever give maybe like a vague story that didn't have a specific perpetrator named or identified by you, but of some kind of like trauma or something that happened to you? Did you ever give like a vague story that
No.
maybe he could have?
I'm
Okay.
not a traumatized person. I'm fine. There's not, like, a thing.
But and you wouldn't have said that at any point, like, just being like a teenager and sort of LARPing a bit or anything.
No.
Okay. Right.
Was it just CPS reports? Apparently there was a claim that your dad's workplace was being harassed at some point.
Oh, so that wasn't, they weren't harassing his work, but he has clearances for work, and in order to have those clearances, you cannot be under investigation for child abuse. They're immediately revoked because he works in schools and hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to not be under any sort of investigation. He's not allowed to work while that stuff is going on.
And did Cameron know about that?
Yes, he did.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Sorry, I was muted on my stream. I just asked her if Cameron knew about that. So yeah, Cameron did know about that stuff. That was a question. Just for posterity.
Okay. I feel like it doesn't have very much to do with Cam, although it does relate somewhat to the claims of blackmail. Would you mind getting in and discussing the honeypot allegations? Do you still deny them?
Yeah.
Was there any
So
truth to these?
I didn't honeypot. Oh my god.
Okay. There's just a little bit of a family incident that she's dealing with.
What?
Yeah, that was it was a thing earlier. I think her yeah, anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I need to. I had questions, but I keep forgetting them. But I need to remember them. Did she say like anything about the context around the clip of her saying it wasn't sexual assault?
Apparently that was so
I
part
heard
of
her
this
say it
is
was, like, basically
scripting, and then
scripted in
part
most
of this
schools.
is apparently he was clip chipping, and there was no sexual assault on the first time they met up. Is apparently what she was discussing at that time, because apparently Krexer or Asana moderators or something was making a claim that during the first or second time that there was a sexual assault, but apparently that was taken out of context.
Wait, and so when did that call take place?
That was, I believe,
Okay,
after the fourth
I'm
time that they
back.
met up.
Yeah, sorry, I was just asking. So the clip of you saying that he's never sexually assaulted you, like, what's the context around that? How's that?
We had not done, or well, yeah, nothing had happened yet. Krexa was trying to ask me leading questions, and
When did this take
happened.
place in the timeline? That call?
That was after the very first time that we met. Nothing had happened.
Got you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so at that
And
time you
so
hadn't had
he-
any kind of sexual contact?
No.
Okay.
So of course I would say that in the call, because nothing happened.
And so when did he use that clip? Did he use that clip in a video after?
Yeah, he's using it to claim that that happened after the allegations, but it did not. That call was unrelated to those. He takes everything out of context. God, it's annoying. Okay, so there was another thing, the honeypot stuff. Sorry, there was a freeze pop situation.
That's okay.
Yeah, so the honeypot thing. There's a screenshot. It's called the honeypot rules. I was in a Discord server full of pedophiles, and every time they would say something weird to me, I would screenshot it and post it in Gen Chat and be like, found another one. So they were giving me all of their pedophile logic and how underage girls are supposed to treat them because they're so innocent and they're just victims and they did nothing wrong, and it's all the evil 13-year-olds that are ruining their lives. So I made satire rules, basically parodying everything that I would commonly hear from them.
But what's
Like,
this about?
you shouldn't have done that to me.
What's this about getting,
Oh,
for
what?
example, I believe it was, something about, I believe it's like Sims 4 DLC, or getting kind of gifts paid for
Oh my god.
instead of direct cash.
Yeah. Oftentimes, in order to prevent something from happening, I never had to ask. It was always preemptive because I had a little bit of a reputation for exposing people. they would purchase me something preemptively in order to like buy me over, and it would make them feel like I owed them something so I wouldn't expose them, and I still would, obviously, but like I don't know what went through their brains where they were like, if I buy her something, she's not going to screenshot this, because I was screenshotting everything anyways. Doesn't matter if you bought me something or not, but I would still accept all the gifts. I'm not going to turn down DLCs. I didn't have to threaten anyone for it, though. It was all given to me willingly.
Okay. But you still accepted them as, I guess,
Yeah.
gifts or offers. Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty for accepting bribes from pedophiles.
Okay. Because there's here. Okay. So these
Oh
are
my
the...
god, yeah. So this was made when I was 13. I was in a server called Shitpost. It was, oh my god.
Okay.
I think that No Text to Speech made a video about it.
Okay. So I'll just kind of read through them. Don't dox him if you DM him first. He isn't in a place to resist if you seduce him on purpose. If you DM him first within reason, you are not a victim. No leaking. Don't ruin the trust. If you want to gather more evidence for an arrest, you need to keep him feeling secure in your DMs. Don't expose him to anyone other than the police. No romantic promises. Don't make any promise of marriage, love, or babies. Okay. As soon as you start acting like a girlfriend, you are not his groomie. Getting fedded by somebody who loves him will be traumatizing. Keep your clothes on. Make sure he's sober, one at a time. Don't dox him if he's loyal to you.
So each of these were based on a specific thing that someone had said to me. So, like, say I would DM someone first, and then they would start flirting with me, and I would be like, I'm 13, and they would say, I don't care. I would screenshot that, and so that's what the first one was about. And then the no leaking. I would leak their dick pics. If they would send me a dick pic right after I said my age, I would immediately post that in general chat, and they would freak out over it and try to act like I was morally as bad as them for leaking it after they sent it to me as a 13-year-old. There were no romantic promises. That was about my friend Applerin. She got into a thing with a streamer, and it was a whole ordeal, but she was trying to convince him that she was going to be in love with him forever and that they were going to get married. And then she posted all that stuff, and he freaked out, and he was like, she manipulated me. I thought we were in love. And she was younger than me, so she was 12. These are all based on specific things that a pedophile would say to try to defend themselves. And then I put it all into a honeypot rules because it was funny.
Okay. Because the way that I've heard you describe this before,
go
when I think it was in a call with FBS Diesel, is that you were in a group chat with a bunch of girls, and this was an FAQ, so that people would stop asking you how to do this, or how to kind of pedo bait.
I was never ever in a call with FPS.
No? Or
I'm
is
not
this
sure
call
what
with
you're
somebody
referring
else?
to. No?
Okay. So you never said that this was a list of kind of FAQs.
Oh my
that you
god,
would
that's the
list for
Cameron
people.
call. Oh, was that? I was super. There's a screenshot of me. I think it's in the Diesel video of me getting mad at Cameron because he sent a cut up call and it was really awful. And it was right after Applerin had died. I can like send you her obituary. But it was like right after my friend died. And he started sending it to people, and it pissed me off because he was making it seem like we were doing pedophile stuff together and she was no longer alive to dispute that. I was so mad at him.
Okay.
So when Cameron got on a call with Diesel like a year ago on stream, he was claiming that this Google Drive called Yandere Dev Evidence had CP in it, and that he was specifically referring, when he said that, he was specifically referring to these videos of you on Discord calls with what looked like grown men, and he showed censored versions of those pictures, claiming it was actually CP behind it, and then also claimed that a specific file, which was actually a screenshot of, I believe, one of your Discords, that was also CP. What was going on there? Were you asking him to do that to hide stuff, or?
So no, those really were CP. I was drugged and assaulted over the summer, and there were a whole bunch of pictures of me unconscious, unclothed, that somehow Kiwi Farms found and compiled. The guy already got in trouble. I just I sent Dickers the screenshot of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like an unrelated thing. Cameron was not aware of that until the pictures were being posted, because no one would contact me. The Arosana people would ban anyone and like blacklist them and spread a whole bunch of shit about them if they contacted me. So I had no way of reaching people to say, hey, those are CP, please don't post those. And people, I guess, weren't checking the drive to see what was in it, and they weren't seeing like, oh, that's an underage person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Obviously this is like
yeah.
a sensitive. These are sensitive kind of details.
Yeah.
But when did this happen? When were these photographs taken? Kind of what happened here?
The pictures were taken over the something. I sent you the thing, the York County Department of Probation Services. That's the thing. Oh my god, that's such a fuzzy picture. What?
Was that in
Why is it so
2023?
blurry? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Over the summer of 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this seems to correspond, because you said earlier that you're not a traumatized person. You said that
He was unaware of any of that stuff until the pictures were being posted. I didn't go telling anyone anything because the investigation was ongoing.
Okay. So when did Cam
and I was
become
being
aware
responsible.
of this? Brief
Cameron
timeline.
became aware of it once that drive was posted. That was the first time I had seen those pictures anywhere other than.
Okay, but
from
I'm
the detective.
I'm pretty sure that in one of the things that Cameron seemed to have sent FPS Diesel, it was like a Discord call, and on one side is, I assume, you with your face blurred, and on the other side was like a man, and that half had been censored with a yellow bar, even though you can see it is a full grown man, and he was claiming that was CP. So you know about these screenshots, right? I assume that's you with your face blurred.
If you send it over, I can pull it up.
I remember what was in the drive. I don't remember any discourse surrounding the drive. I told Cameron which pictures were not okay, and Cameron told Allie which pictures were not okay. And then, as far as I know, that was the end of it, and they got rid of them.
One second.
Yeah, if you can show me, I'm sure I could. You can't. I'm just
Yeah,
not aware
so
of what
if
you're
you
talking
do
about.
DM it to me, I can pull
Just
up
found it. Yeah, I'm just sending it to you now, Dickers. I mean, I don't know if you want to pull this up on stream.
Is it explicit?
It's not explicit.
If there's child porn in it, then
it's not child. It's definitely not child porn. It's definitely not child porn.
Oh, was this included in Diesel's video?
This is in that Google Drive.
Okay. So I guess I'll describe it. I'll send it over to you, Jelly, just so you know what
it's
we're
a man
talking
with
about.
a full beard and a hairy chest.
Hairy belly as well.
And you seemingly with your face pixelated on the other side of the.
Oh my god, that's Malice.
Who is
he got arrested for sex trafficking.
Okay.
Yeah, oh my god, that's Malice. That's so funny. I didn't know that there was a screenshot available of that. That's
But that
funny.
seemed to be what was censored as CP, and at least one of the.
Oh,
that seems to be what Cameron's claiming was CP.
Well, that's not CP. Clearly, I'm not. Clearly, I'm not undressed.
So, do you know who produced the image that has, like, these pictures with one side cut off with a yellow square? Did you produce those, or did Cameron produce those?
No, I did not make those. Cameron did.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's
just
not
to clarify,
CP.
which side is cut off with a yellow bar? The side of the man, or the
side with the side of the man?
Okay.
Well, why?
Yeah, I'm not. That's why I was so unsure. I was like, I don't understand how this is being claimed to be CP or why it's being claimed to be CP. My first instinct was you were like blackmailing or extorting this guy, and you didn't want this to get because this supported that or something. But you're claiming you weren't blackmailing and extorting. They preemptively were paying you off. So I don't. And seemingly just talking about that openly. So I don't know why you would then hide this. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I'm pretty sure that is one of the images that he was claiming was CP to Diesel. And the other one was
Okay.
also a screenshot of your Discord, I think.
Yeah, if there's not a naked girl in it, then it's not CP.
It's Jane's brothel Discord rules page.
Oh, Jelly's brothel. Oh, I had orbiters at the time, and they were making servers for me and getting them all set up, and then I would hop into VC for a little bit. Oh, that's so funny. You must be 10 to enter. Okay. Okay. Key religion out. No. Yes. I don't think that this is my. I don't think that's my account.
No?
No.
Was this your
That-
server?
No. People would make servers for me and I was in them, but they were not mine. My only server was the Tide Pool.
Okay. So in
It's
this
it's a popular
FAQ
thing
bit over
among.
here, was it
Okay.
this image that was whoops? Fuck.
What? You'll find it. I believe in you.
Shit. This image. Was it this image that was shown?
I don't know.
Were you a member of this Discord?
Probably. If it was Jelly's brothel, then I was probably like second mod. There's a thing. It's called Calm, but it's like a collection of degenerate servers, and in order to get people to join, they'll give someone an owner role that's above everything else and separate from it, and they almost always give that to an e-girl, and then the actual people running the server are like neo-Nazis who have a Telegram. It's kind of just a front to get people to join so that they can reunite because all of their accounts get termed so frequently. It's not actually a server belonging to any of the e-girls who have the owner role. It's a whole thing. No Text-to-Speech makes videos about it, but I was in there for a while.
Okay. I think the difficulty that I'm having with this particular point is it seems to be that you're associating with a lot of other girls who are being kind of taken advantage of, or at least speaking to pedophiles. And you seem to have habitually been in contact with voice calls with pedophiles, and you seem to have received gifts. You say it's because you had this reputation of exposing people.
I was whatever they're called. I was a wannabe Belle Delphine for like a few years, from like 13 to 15.
But I mean,
so okay,
Belle
this guy,
Delphine
this is
isn't
rabid.
in DM or video chats with pedophiles.
No, but she started somewhere. You have to know.
Okay.
I was oh my god. I just wanted attention and I wasn't old enough to make an OnlyFans. It's embarrassing.
Okay. So was this made with what intention then? Because this seems to be targeted towards having some kind of
The honeypot
reciprocity,
rules?
some
That was
kind
just
of
a meme. It was reposted every time a pedophile would get caught. It was like an inside joke within the server.
Okay. But you're saying this was just a joke, and this wasn't included in, for example, a server like this that was made by other people. This wasn't included in the
Well,
FAQ
it probably
channel.
was. It was. I'm not sure. I wasn't always in those. Sometimes it wasn't even me. It was a guy named Bill, and he would pretend to be me because people would give him nitro. So
Okay.
I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
I'm not sure the extent of it. I wasn't always around for it. I would take month breaks at a time, and somehow the Jelly persona never went away.
Okay. Because the problem that I'm having is that it seems like, whether this was made as a joke or not, it seems as though this was posted and circulated amongst other people. There were servers made kind of with the intention of these girls getting together. You would be in conversations with pedophiles,
Well, I
and
hope
then
not.
well, that seems to be the case, right? That's what you said. And they would speak to
that's
pedophiles and then with the
unfortunate.
intent of exposing them or something.
Well, if they were exposing them, then that's like whatever. I
Were
don't
they
know.
also receiving gifts?
I don't know. The only other e-girl that I ever spoke to who was in a situation like that was Apple Rim.
Okay. So you were speaking to these pedophiles. Was it just once that you got kind of bought things, DLC, gifts, things like that?
No, people were consistently buying me stuff from 13 to, I think, like, I don't know, 16?
And you
And
said,
then I got a real life boyfriend and I stopped talking to all those people.
okay. Good. And then you said earlier that the reason why some of these people would send you these items would be because you had a reputation for exposing pedophiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't entirely my fault. Two guys who I happened to be talking to coincidentally were arrested. One of them was arrested for something unrelated. His username was leprosy, and he was arrested because he diddled an 8-year-old, and that was completely unrelated to me. It just happened to coincide with the time that we were talking.
Okay.
And then the other one went to jail for, I don't know. He did something stupid. I think it was like heroin. But it was unrelated things. It just happened at the same time. So people started joking that I was a honeypot and that I was working for the feds to get these people found. It was entirely a joke.
Okay.
I was 13. Like,
You're saying
obviously,
it was a joke. There were people that were
wasn't.
arrested, but it was coincidental and nothing to do with you. But you did get gifts bought for you because you had this, I guess, reputation for
I had
exposing
a
people.
reputation, and if you weren't in the server when all that stuff happened, all you knew about me is that I was a fed.
Okay. So, but you were habitually getting into these kind of conversations with these people, getting into kind of voice calls with random men. You saying you're doing it for attention or, for
Yeah,
other
entirely
things?
just attention.
It seems as though this is, all but indistinguishable from a honeypot. Would you not?
Well, I think that the difference is that I wasn't roping in other girls like people are claiming. If other girls were getting involved with stuff, I was unaware of it.
But you
I
personally,
don't
running a
doubt
honeypot
it.
operation, you just personally knew that these interactions were going to happen and were willing to benefit from them. While
Would you consider that a honeypot?
well, I mean, it's like kind of a honeypot. It's like you're not entrapping, but you're doing it intentionally, right? You are you're going through the motions.
I
that
wasn't
are gonna
actively
happen.
avoiding pedophiles, but if you're a 13-year-old girl, you're gonna come across a couple inevitably.
Yeah,
but I
for
feel
sure.
like a normal 13-year-old would try to avoid pedophiles. But you seemed happy to kind of facilitate the conversation, to either kind of have fun exposing them or to receive these gifts.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're denying the fact there was an operation, but under kind of
There
what I
was
laid
no
out
operation.
there, if I were to call that a honeypot,
I didn't avoid it.
if I were to
but
call
I
that a
wasn't
honeypot,
intentional.
you would agree that, under the definition that I'm using, you did honeypot
Yeah,
people.
under the definition that you're using. Yes.
Okay.
Don't clip that out of context.
No.
Hold on.
Well, that's why I was
Be
careful to
careful with
preface that under the definition that I'm using.
Yeah.
But you never roped in other girls. This was never a kind of an organization.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. At least that's kind of
I'm sorry.
kind of
It's
hashed
embarrassing, but yeah, I was a massive attention whore. My bad.
out. No, it's good to finally get, I guess, details or confirmation of what happened. I appreciate you being honest about that. Okay. I guess I can't think of anything else that I'd want to ask you about or put to you. Okay. I guess what's your relationship with Krexa and Ali? I guess
Oh,
because at some point you said that there was a
Ali
conversation where they were saying message Cameron, see if you can get him to say that he wants to have sex, that kind of stuff. So what was going on there? What was your relationship with them?
Allie got contacted by Krexa, who used to be a voice actor for Yandere Dev.
Mhm.
And Krexa, after finding out that I was talking to Cameron, warned me about him. And she was like, he's crazy, blah, blah. She sent me a whole bunch of voice recordings, and all of that she posted publicly to Arosana.
And to clarify,
So
she
that
was
stuff
his
was all-
ex-roommate, right?
Yeah, so she moved in with him. He was doing the sound stuff, and she was voice acting the singing character. So they lived together for a little bit. and
Okay,
were
wait. So they
working
were working
together.
together while
Yeah.
living together, and so what?
Yep.
He found out that she was having trouble with housing, and then got her to move in.
Yep, because it was a good opportunity for both of them since they were still already collaborating on the game.
Got you. Okay, and so what happened in your view with the Krexa stuff? You think she was being
think that
legit,
she's
or did she?
Batshit crazy. I think that she is delusional and self-absorbed, and she's like 10% worse than me. But Cameron is also an asshole, and I think I too would be driven to insanity if I had to live with him. So she would get pissy over something small that he did and want to be left alone. And Cameron would escalate the situation by cleaning off his gun with the door open, being an intimidating asshole. And the reason he told other people he did that is because he was scared that she was going to attack him. Which, like, okay, she's crazy, but she's not crazy. He was just being dramatic. And so she would be crying on the couch, hiding under the covers, freaking out because the guy who she lives with, and she was totally homeless, she had no way out, was being
this is
an intimidating creep.
This is hearsay. I'm muted right now.
So that's like
Aiden, I'll pull you in. I just want to get this.
That whole thing.
I
I
guess
don't
full
know
answer,
too much.
Before we kind
Other
of move on
than
to having
that,
you in as
because
well.
that's the stuff that I
I'll
remember
figure it out.
because it was crazy. But she has recordings of
this is
him
hearsay. But
not leaving the room
if
when
you want to
she's
have a conversation,
please leave me alone.
okay. If you want to support the interview as it's ongoing, obviously getting everything on the record. I can't really shill, but I appreciate if you support me. Thank you.
That reason publicly or on a recording or anything? Or
I don't know if it's anywhere else. I don't know if Eve recorded him talking about it, but personally, he would laugh about that stuff to me. And I'm fairly certain he had a conversation with Diesel about it.
Okay. To be fair, this is
It was a
a little bit
3-hour
difficult because this
video,
is
I don't
Jelly testifying to stuff that's like already public, so it's kind of
yeah.
hearsay. But yeah, did you want to have Aiden in? I think he's got a couple of questions that he wants to ask you
yeah.
as well. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Just so long as I guess everyone's taken their turn, it's probably fine to have more people in the call. But there we are. Aiden Underground, how's it going?
Hello?
How's it going,
Hi.
Aiden?
What's up? It's going good, man. Why are we so focused on this person's past?
Have you just like started listening like 20 minutes ago?
No, I think I had it pulled up, but I wasn't listening. It was a bit boring.
Oh, my past is a little bit relevant because I was a pedo baiter, and then I baited Alex, and that's how all of this started.
Yeah, but it feels like people are trying to use that to discredit your honesty in regards to this situation with Cameron in particular. Do you have a history of ever accusing anyone besides Cameron of an act of sexual assault?
Nope.
Have you ever lied, making life-ruining allegations against somebody?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. What is the because throughout this whole thing, I don't know if you saw I think you saw a conversation with Cameron. Seems like every 2
Aiden,
seconds
unprepared as
people need to
usual.
add, oh well, this jelly
Interesting.
person has lied. Oh, they're a liar, they're a liar, they're a liar. About like previous things. And is it just in regards to this like pedo bait stuff that they're referring to?
Yeah, because Cameron claimed that I had some organization thing. What did he say? that that I had an operation and was roping in other girls, and that wasn't true. I don't know what he said. It was in a 3-hour video. I'm not watching that again.
This guy has to get locked up, man.
Okay, Aiden. Is there anything that you wanted to put to? Because I know you were very, very interested in the calls.
I was interested in the calls. I think you might answer this earlier, but the call where you're saying he didn't sexually assault you, what was the
Yeah, that
context of
was
that?
after our first time meeting. He had not assaulted me at that point. All we did
Wait,
during that day was interview. That was after our first time meeting.
so that so that wasn't even okay, so that wasn't even in relation.
Which is why he wouldn't send you the full call or any of the data about it. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was the creation date. It would have fucked him
yeah,
over.
yeah, the date. So yeah, so the creation date of the file, for those who didn't know yesterday, uh this Queenan's mod was able to extract the metadata from the file he sent me, and the creation date was the 24th of May, which was the day I conducted my interview with Cameron, which indicates he probably cut something and then exported it from Premiere. And I accidentally, because he was screen sharing, found out that the 1 minute 44 clip, 1 minute 44 second clip he sent me was not the only thing he
Crazy.
had.
Just call him Queeman's mod and not say Box Wonder. Just saying, that's pretty crazy.
Especially when he helped you so
I want
much. He's
Yeah.
the only reason you have this clip, Aiden.
This guy's like a father figure to you, and you treat him like this.
You can't be too nice to people; they take it for granted. But he accidentally screen sharing reveals that there's a 5 minute 22 second clip, and I think, in my opinion, that he's now refusing to send me. In my opinion, the 1 minute 44 second clip was cut from the 5 minute 22 second clip. But that wasn't even when that call occurred. The meeting between the two of you, where he tries to kiss you for 5 minutes, allegedly, that occurred
Yeah.
after this call, right?
That was our very last time meeting because I refused to see him again after that.
So you think that's why he didn't show the full call, because it wasn't even about. That's actually insane. Okay.
Yeah, every single call that he has ever shown has been completely out of context. That's why it's like 10-second clips, because he edits everything, he splices everything, and I have no idea how he's gotten away with it for so long, because he's in college for music and audio editing. Like, that's literally what he's in college for. He has professional programs that are covered by his scholarship. He's able to doctor stuff really well if he wants to. I'm not sure why anyone is trusting his audio clips unless he sends them the full thing and shares the screen recording of all of their properties.
I think that's going to
I
have to be
had
the standard
my
going forward, to be fair.
I had my in-house audio expert look at the spectrogram of the 1 minute 44 second recording he sent me and to us. And I'm no audio expert. It does look doctored. It does look like the moments of silence are not due to like noise suppression on his mic, but rather
Do you have
outright
that
cuts.
screenshot, Aiden?
Yes.
Okay.
He also, there's a difference in mic quality. His phone mic is shit. But in some things, it sounds like he's recording me not with OBS, but from his phone. But for some reason, his voice is very clear. That's because he's splicing things together. He's splicing audio from his computer with audio from his phone.
To be clear, here, there looks to be like a clean cut. Actually, no, I'm looking at it. This audio wave does not look normal. There's not an ordinary rise and fall. This is a hard cut.
Yep.
And also, like, I said this before, we now have verified that he lied to me, because while we were talking to each other, I explicitly clarified, you're finding the original file. It's not like you're exporting a new file. I think I outright asked him, are you editing the audio right now? And he said no. So he can't now turn around and say, oh, well, I just wanted to cut out private parts and then I sent you the clip, because I explicitly asked him about that. He sent me the 1 minute 44 second recording under the guise that this was his original recording, where he conveniently started and stopped the recording, as if I was going to fucking believe that. And it shows that it was created on May 24th. So he verifiably lied to me about that. And I don't know, like I don't understand this is not, just to clarify, this is not like definitive slam dunk proof of his guilt or that like, oh, he totally definitely did anything. But I don't understand why he like feels the need to lie about every single like facet of like what happened here.
It seems
He's
like
trying to construct
every time
a
the audio
perfect
starts
narrative
here,
because
that
he wants
there
to
seems to be a hard
commentary.
cut.
Oh, it's just how his mic is, man. Well, also
don't know.
he accidentally at the start of one of the sound waves, he briefly leaves in there's kind of like a thump sound, and typically, with like noise suppression, that
Yeah,
like
exactly.
will,
I was gonna say it could be that he's like recording it through an OBS mic and has like a noise gate on, but that wouldn't make sense
That-
when it starts so sharply. Sometimes,
I mean,
like, you
if you
would
take a look at
expect
this,
to see something with like,
yeah,
and
you'd
you wouldn't have heard
expect to
that
see
like
it very,
little
very.
background.
It would not be a hard cut. You'd expect to see a little bit of trail up, but here, this
Yeah,
is
that
not
would
a
be-
very loud sound
yeah.
at all. This doesn't register very high on the decibel.
It's very obvious he just exported this from Premiere while we were talking. It was it was probably cut for his actual video, and the segment that he exported was just the already edited segment that was part of a larger recording that he had in Premiere, and that larger recording was the over 5 minute one that I wasn't supposed to see, that he refused to send me, saying, "Oh yeah, I'll send that to you, man." And then after, like he did with
So-
Diesel, sending me a DM
Yeah,
saying,
I did
"I'm
that
not
the
gonna send it to
entire
you."
time I've known him. He's been doing that for over a year. In
Well,
my personal opinion, I think that he doctors everything so that there's nothing anyone can take out of context because he's been watching commentary for a while, and he's been planning since he first met Alex to eventually be a commentary YouTuber.
Yeah, I know he's been a fan. I know he knows a lot of details of this community dating back for years. Like I can tell you, he's been a long time fan. But the other thing too is the reason his justification for not releasing the 5 minute part that I believe I wasn't supposed to see, and he actually showed me in a screen share, is like out of concern for you because there's some sort of private information in there, and that's why he doesn't want to give it to me.
Well, that's
So-
bullshit. There's nothing private. I'm an open book, even if it's uncomfortable. I've said a
So
lot
you
of
w-
stuff.
So you're giving him
On the
permission to
record,
release
you're
that full
okay.
thing.
You're giving information. Yeah.
Is
Don't feel pressured
just,
into saying yes if you don't want to.
Yeah.
If there's like an address or something, I would appreciate if you guys could blur an address, but I don't really care about the rest of the stuff. As long as
so
it's
just like
nothing
no
to-
personal identifying information, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say personal info, but like private sort of like.
You're talking about your dad,
Yeah,
you're talking about your
yeah.
sister, you're talking about,
But so he claims.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
We don't know
saying
if any of that's true,
those
by the way.
types of claims, you would be okay with those being released.
Yeah. I
Or
haven't said anything.
Okay.
I don't have like any deep, terrible things that I discuss that I wouldn't want to be shared.
Bearing in mind,
Publicly.
you can say no later, by the way. If you want to change your mind
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
just so you don't feel that you're pressured in this in this live stream, okay? Feel free to say no later.
Well,
I'll
you've been
publicly say
asking
that
me
if you change your
pretty
mind.
weird stuff, and I've been answering just fine.
yeah, I have an even better idea. Is there anyone like you trust for him to send the full recording to? Because I don't want him to start cutting things under the justification that this was a part where Jelly said something private. Is there anyone
You guys seem to have decent moral grounds. Like, I don't know. I'm certain that you guys would blur something if you thought
Yeah.
it was super fucked. And if there is anything crazy that I say, it probably is too crazy to be on YouTube. So you wouldn't be
Okay.
able to put that on there anyways.
Because I guess if
Okay,
it does
so-
go through us, we can always ask you if you're okay with
Yeah.
the recording
We can leave it-
being released.
We
Yes.
ain't getting that
But-
shit from Cameron anyway. Let's be serious.
But yes.
Just
yes,
saying,
but
the
now
offer is
you know,
there,
but-
okay?
but
He
it
can if he
invalidates
wants
his
to.
excuse.
Yes.
But to have that on record, it totally invalidates his excuse, and he's gonna have to now come up with another reason for why he's not gonna give it.
Yeah. Yep, I don't care if there's anything personal, as long as it's not identifying information that you can use to stalk me.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, still not gonna give it. I wonder what excuse number 6 is gonna be.
Oh, he has it. He'll just send it to you later.
I honestly, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Someone needs to make a video about this. Somebody needs to make a video about this. The whole world needs to know. The whole world. It's just
Someone
been
did make a
swept
video.
under the rug.
Baden Pinardo did a video called CameronF305, Cameron Fields is a child rapist.
Oh my fucking- Dude, I saw that shit.
To be clear, Jelly,
Dioria
even
needs to talk
today,
about
okay,
this.
before a clip gets made of that, okay, Jelly, even today, is saying it doesn't fit the definition for rape. You describe it
Yeah,
as
legally,
a kind of
It's
sexual
obviously not
assault.
rape,
It doesn't.
I
but
called it
it's,
that at first because, like, I don't know, close enough, but it doesn't fit the legal definition, so you can't say that. He
I
can
just-
get all pissy about it, and he
Obviously,
threatens
this
his
is-
lawyers
yeah.
all the time.
Like a long form
wait, I
interview.
have a
I'm just
question.
trying to be aware of clips that could be taken out by
Yeah.
malicious
Wait,
bad
wait,
faith
I have
I have
actors.
to call it alleged non-consensual attempted oral.
Okay.
Before I forget, you claimed that he attempted to call you 2 months ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you guys already went over it. I missed it. Do you have your like phone records? You don't have to leak his number. But
He uses burner numbers, but I can find it. Yeah, I might even be able to search in my recents.
how'd you
and
know it was
see.
him?
Because when I answered it, I said, "Who is this?" And he said, "Cameron." So
Got it.
I don't. Yeah, if it's from a burner number, then I'll answer saying who is it because I don't recognize it.
Well, yeah, because according to him, he hasn't spoken to you in a year.
Well, that's bullshit. Like serious bullshit.
This guy sounds psycho Michael Myers, I gotta be honest.
Does he have mob
He
connections?
would. Oh my god, no. He
Okay.
would call me at like 4 a.m. He's annoying. He calls at odd hours. He would bother me a lot.
When I heard the story of the curfew, right, with your online history, no offense, I found it very unlikely that you're like you've like the type of parents that are setting curfews. You've already
I did
admitted
not
that
have a
wasn't true.
curfew. I just
Yeah,
wanted to go
but
home.
what made you so uncomfortable? I guess that like
He was repeatedly asking me to kiss him, and he was like, "No, we can just spend another hour together." And I was like, "No, dude, you're pushy. You're weird. Leave me alone."
okay.
And he
So
wouldn't.
you said you wanted to go home
Multiple
after
times.
his first attempt to kiss you, and then he kept trying to push the issue after you said
Well,
no.
I had been telling him I wanted to go home for like a while. That was our last interaction. That was the one after he claimed he was the one making all of the false police reports and FBI reports and CPS reports. So he was basically telling me, I'm going to keep making these reports unless you come see me or unless I come see you in person and we can clear the air. So I was like, are you sure? Like, you're completely done? You're going to fuck off after this? And he was like, yeah, I just have to see you one last time to clear the air. So we did. And I had that conversation with him like as soon as I got in the car, and I was like, okay, I'm done, fuck off. And then he would not let me go home.
And to be clear, not to say even if it was in walking distance, it's not unreasonable if you felt uncomfortable walking home at night.
I sent the screenshot to Dickers. It was a 5-hour walk.
40-minute drive.
What?
40-minute drive, 5-hour walk is allegedly where this took place.
Wait. He said it was like he worded it like it was basically down the road.
Aiden, this is alleged, okay? We don't have confirmation that this was
I
the
know,
place, okay?
I know.
Just to caution you, okay?
I had to get dropped off near my old high school so that I could walk to my grandma's house.
I know it's alleged, but anything he says, I'm now just going to assume the opposite is true. So
Yeah.
for you commentary people's standards, it's alleged. For me, it's fact. He did it 50 minutes away. But I mean, yeah, that's just fucking insane. I don't know. The like huge discrepancies in the story, the fact that he is like a complete pathological liar. Case closed in my books. Lock him up.
Did you ever file a police report about this?
No.
Do you feel like you
as you can
want
see
to?
from that picture that I sent you, I had already filed a report for an actual assault that was on camera, and they did nothing. You can see at the bottom, it's substantiated and that he is not facing charges.
Yeah, but if
Wait,
you're
an
saying
assault
that your
against.
motivation for coming out about this is somebody else later not having to kind of
It's
have the
warning
same
other
kind of...
girls. It's not to do anything to him or
Mhm.
his life. It's just so that when another girl eventually does her background check, when they start talking, she'll be able to find this, and I won't feel bad if something happens because I'll know that I made it public. And
Yeah.
a police report wouldn't do anything.
Obviously, you know, not to kind of try and pressure you into anything, but the benefit of filing a police report sometimes is that if somebody else, you know, does face something similar again, that allegedly happened, then if they file a report, then it has an extra level of credibility because there have been reports filed against
So,
him for this behavior before.
even though I did not file a report, someone else had reported it to the police, and I did talk to a social worker about it. Nothing ever happened from it because I wasn't filing charges, but it is on record somewhere. Some social worker has it that this happened.
Wait, who filed that police report?
I'm not sure. There were a bunch of anonymous ones. I'm hoping it was Diesel. I feel like he's the only person sane enough to report that stuff.
But you had
But I
an
don't know.
interview with a social worker where you discussed
Yep,
the
a
incident
victim
that happened with
specialist.
Cam.
Yep.
Okay, that's good at least. But you have
Maybe
no
we could try to
idea
get
where
an
that
interview
was
with the social
filed.
worker.
Oh, sorry, go on. Go on, Aiden.
Oh, me? I was just making an offhanded comment. I was saying maybe we could try to get an interview with the social worker.
Oh, okay.
Interview number 3.
But you have no idea personally where that interview would be kind of logged. Presumably, it wouldn't even be public if
Yeah,
it's a victim
I'm not
against
sure.
a child. To be fair,
Yeah, well, like, I'm 18 now, so things should be public, but I never got, like, a case number. They never sent me a whole, like, case closed sort of thing.
okay.
So,
And
I don't know whatever happened at that specific interview.
the social worker that you were talking to, is this the same social worker from CYS that you had kind of text correspondence
No,
back and forth with?
she also interviewed me about Yandere Dev. We went to an FBI building for that. So, yeah, I don't know what all that was about. There were multiple different reports. I don't know how many of them got combined into like a mega report because they were all saying the same thing. I don't know how they handle their paperwork. I have no idea where stuff is. I've
Okay.
never been an FBI agent. So,
Did you send me do you have the paperwork relating to being interviewed by the FBI?
no, we didn't get paperwork for that. I sent you the recording of the email because they did get into my email, and that was its own thing, and I think that has a case number attached to it, but I don't know if that's like the Google case number or the FBI case number.
So I'm okay reading it. I'm not going to read any personal information, just to confirm that this is the one. Okay. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So hello, Google received and responded to a legal process issued by the FBI compelling the release of information relating to your Google account. A court order previously prohibited Google from notifying you of legal processes. You are now permitted to disclose the receipt of the legal process to you. The agency reference number or case number on the legal process is blah 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So if you can like look into that stuff, feel free. I don't care that much, but go ahead.
Are you actually married, by the way?
Yeah.
Congratulations, I guess. How, can I just ask, how
Yeah.
old is your husband?
Oh, he's 19 and we met over 4chan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Classic love story.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Why are you insulting
I
this
hope
girl,
everything
Aiden?
works out. No, I'm sorry. And people were just like skeptical of the story, and I honestly, I hope everything works
Yeah,
out.
I keep seeing that in chat. That's why I also specified where we met.
Okay.
Someone was asking that earlier. Green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. All right. Well,
Okay.
I guess. Anything else?
Oh, just to be clear, what do you mean anything else, Aiden? You've jumped on here, you retard.
We're about to kick you off. We're about to kick you off.
What the fuck are you talking about? You're in my server. Okay, anyway. Would you be okay if I were to share that case number with somebody else? They're a lawyer
With
I know. They've said that they've done
other
these kind of collections
commentary
before.
people, as long as it's like a commentary person and not Cameron, then
Yes.
go for it.
Okay. Just making sure that I had your permission for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh god, you guys are gonna find so much stuff about me. It's fine.
It's
I was a weird teenager.
yeah. I mean, so long as it's kind of doxable and anything like that, that's not going to be released. But just yeah. I mean, Aiden said it, and I don't think, so far as I can tell, there's anybody else who wants to hop in.
Okay.
And so I think that might be all we have for you. To be fair, we've been going for
Well,
2.5
that's
hours, so
all I have
fair
to
stint.
say.
Yeah. But yeah, there we
Okay,
are. I appreciate you
thanks.
you coming on. The Discord account that you're currently using, is that a permanent account?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is my personal account.
Fab. And you said you wanted to kind of move on from a lot of this stuff on Blue Sky, but if there were any more questions that any of us had for you, would you be able to be contacted on this account just to, or would you prefer not to be?
For questions and stuff, like if you can just text me things,
Mhm.
then yes, but my schedule is a little bit iffy.
Yeah. That's no, that's totally fair.
So I probably won't be able to get into a stream again. You guys can text me whatever questions you have though.
Okay, fantastic.
Sounds good.
I appreciate it. Well, I might not chat to you soon, but thank you for coming on. I appreciate you giving a little bit more insight into this. So there we are.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thanks. Yep.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.